Today I'm going to show you exactly how to name your nutrition coaching program. This is often one of the most overlooked elements of a nutrition coaching service, and when it isn't dialed in, you may be leaving money on the table, which is why by the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to name your nutrition coaching program, attract your ideal clients, and create a coaching service that has a cult-like following on its own. This may seem super simple, but what and how you name your nutrition coaching program sets the tone for your entire coaching service. When you add the right name to your overall marketing strategy and your ability to get your nutrition clients results, you're going to have everything you need for business success. Here's why having the right name for your coaching service is important. And the first thing is going to be branding. Branding is essentially the identity you want to create for your business, or the vibe that your business gives off. When you think about Apple or Trader Joe's or Dove, for example, they all have a very specific vibe they give off or an identity. And this branding is essential to their marketing strategy because it shows their customers who the brand is for, what they do, and what their mission is. And most importantly, it demonstrates a feeling that the consumer wants or will experience when they purchase from the brand. Now, there are a lot of elements to branding, like color palettes and mission statements, which should be infused into your coaching and your program. But for now, let's just focus on the name because it is the cornerstone of the brand. Just by naming your coaching program effectively, you can communicate who this coaching is for and what type of results you produce and how someone is going to feel once they reach their goal, which is so incredibly powerful and basically does the marketing for you. Your program name is your calling card and it shows a potential client if this is for them and what they can achieve once they join. And it helps you stand out from all the rest of the nutrition coaches out there. So the person that you're trying to reach knows if you are the coach for them. Let me tell you a story of why this is so important. Let's take Dr. Mark Method coach Josie, for example, who was actually a student in our certification program before she became a member of our coaching team. When she started working with me, her 90-day weight loss program was called the Fit for Life program, which isn't a bad name, but it didn't directly speak to her target audience, which were women who were in their 20s and 30s and wanted to lose weight so they could look great in their Instagram pics. So to make the name fit her branding and make her coaching program more attractive to this ideal type of client, she changed the name to the 90-Day Fit Girl, which was a huge hit. The name was a lot more punchy and it fit with her brand and her personality. And because she directly referenced the type of results that her clients were gonna get, become a fit girl, who the program was for, which was females or women, and a specific time frame within 90 days, her audience could see themselves within the name, which attracted them to her coaching because they started to feel like it was made for them, which it was. So great job on the name, Josie. The second reason why it's so important to pick the right name or to name your coaching program in general is that you begin to create some intellectual property or IP around your business. Simply put, intellectual property is going to be the guides, the diet, and the workout plan that are all branded underneath your business or your program. These are all the things that you will build and create as you start and grow your nutrition coaching business. And when you start to name these things, you start to create your own unique process. You're no longer just one of the other nutrition coaches. You're the creator and the founder of this unique process that creates a specific result that can only be accessed through you. In creating this type of intellectual property under your business or under your program, adds a level of legitimacy to your business that only happens when you name it. And you start to get a cult-like following as well. Think of the company Beachbody, for example. Love them or hate them, they are a massive company that sells workout programs and diet plans, and even branded Tupperware that portions your food for you. And the Beachbody brand has a cult-like following. Everyone hashtags the Beachbody workouts, which gives the company user-generated testimonial content and free marketing without even having to do anything. All the Beachbody branded workouts and diet plans, they are all named and they market themselves. They share awareness and promotion of what Beachbody does more than anything else. Since they are named after the company and users enjoy them so much, they talk about them, spreading awareness about Beachbody's programs more than anything else. Now, for your nutrition coaching, you don't need to go as far as trademarking certain things or investing in pre-portioned Tupperware containers for your clients, but you'd be silly not to start naming and branding your free workout guides, lead magnets, and free resources with your name and your specific branding. So when people use these things and they share them, they are constantly thinking about you and and you are top of mind. Now that you know why naming your program is so important, let's talk about how to actually do it. Naming your nutrition coaching program or approach is actually pretty simple, but a lot of coaches get it wrong. There are typically two mistakes nutrition coaches make when they name their program. The first mistake is they're making the name way too generic. Like for example, Mark's Nutrition Coaching Program. When you hear that name, you might first think, well, that's just plain lazy. But the biggest problem is just by hearing that name, yes, of course you understand that someone named Mark has a nutrition coaching program, but you have no idea what the program helps someone achieve, who the program is for, and there isn't really that standout feature that makes you want to learn more about it. Now, the second mistake actually leans towards the opposite end of the spectrum, where the name is too clever and not clear enough. For example, let's say you're a female coach who helps women improve their strength through plant-based diets. If you're being poetic and clever, you may come up with the name Energize Your Essence. While the name itself may be beautiful, I have no idea who it helps and what you do in the program, or how energizing my essence applies to my specific problem. So where we want to be is somewhere in the middle so that your name effectively communicates what you do and it's super clear. And here's how you do that. Although there are a lot of different ways to name your nutrition coaching program, here's some of the tried and true methods that make a great nutrition coaching name and what we use in the Dr. Mark method. Number one, in your name, include who your program is for and what type of result they want to achieve. One of the best ways to attract your ideal client to your program is by calling out your ideal client. For example, if you want to help busy moms lose 20 pounds, you could call your program something like the Lean Mom Method. This name, although it's not the most clever name out there, clearly states who the program is for and what type of goal they want to achieve. When doing this, think about how your ideal client describes their specific goal and how they describe themselves and what they want. For example, does your client say they want to lose weight or get toned or lose fat? As a coach, although all these things are similar, true and not true and less true and all things in between, to specific niches, they might mean completely different things. And by using your ideal client's exact language, you can further attract them to your program. For example, let's say you want to work with women in their 20s who always describe their goal as getting toned. You could create a fat loss program called the Tone Body Blueprint. These examples sound simple, but they work because they're clear and they call out a specific type of person. My next tip is number 2, use a time frame. One thing you can add to your program's name is a time frame. There's a few ways of doing this. First off, if you run the program in a set amount of days, let's say for 90 days, for example, you can reference that time frame in your program name. For example, if you run a program that helps corporate men gain muscle and get jacked in 90 days, you could call your program something like the 90-day jacked body. Or if the workouts that you create typically last a certain amount of time, let's say 30, 45, or 60 minutes, you can use this in your name. And a great example of this would be the popular gym franchise F45. When you reference a specific time frame and the goal that your client wants to achieve, you're planting the seed in your client's head that in X amount of time, they can be that much closer to achieving their desired goal, which is an incredible motivator for your ideal client every time they think about your program. And in many cases, it can help your nutrition coaching program stand out from the rest of the crowd as the more effective and efficient option just by referencing the time frame. Let's go back to the F45 example for a second. If we think about the F45 name, the massive appeal to their classes is that you can get an amazing workout in just 45 minutes, which clearly contrasts the traditional stereotype of fitness and nutrition, which is that you're going to spend all of your time in the gym and eating boring chicken and rice. Instead, F45 has a special system that allows their members to avoid all of that and condense their time in the gym, which is going to appeal to a certain type of customer, especially busy people with limited time who may or may not like working out, but want all the benefits of exercise like toning up and losing fat. My next tip here is to use alliteration when possible. If you're not sure what alliteration is, join the club. I'm gonna Google it here. Just kidding, but it's when you use the same letter or sound for multiple words in a sequence. For example, beach body, Weight Watchers, PayPal. They all use alliteration. Alliteration acts as a tool that makes the name of your program more memorable to consumers. It's not necessary, but it's a nice touch when possible. So those are the 3 tips to consider when you're naming your nutrition coaching business or your program. Now to clarify, you don't necessarily need all of those elements in your name, but consider having at least 1 or 2 to make your name as effective as possible. Now, before I set you loose, I do want to talk about a few common mistakes that people make when they're using those tips. First off, sell the destination, not the vehicle. What do I mean by that? Most of our potential clients have a specific goal in mind, like weight loss or getting jacked, and that is the destination. That is the place the client wants to get to. But a lot of coaches start by selling the vehicle to the destination. Things like a calorie deficit and mindset and healthy meals and healthy habits and sustainability. But all those things, none of your clients want that. They want results, period. And if you're someone that's been through this process yourself, you've had a successful transformation, maybe you've lost a bunch of weight or put on a bunch of muscle, you need to remember way back when you first started doing these things to achieve that type of result. Your main primary focus was that result. And maybe as you started getting closer to your goal, you started to reflect and look back and appreciate all the factors that contributed to your success, like changing your mindset and your nutrition. But at the beginning, that's not what you were focused on. You were focused on that goal and that result. And that's exactly how our clients feel when they are looking for coaching. They are focused on achieving that result. So if you spend too much time on how they'll actually get there, you're going to lose their interest. The second mistake is make sure that you're aiming to be clear, not clever. While some of the names that we use as examples are not revolutionary, they are one thing and they're super clear. And that's what you want when naming your program. You want someone to hear the name and know exactly who it's for. That's why you want to avoid being overly clever or abstract in naming your program. You can always have fun and get clever in some of your social media marketing and what you post about, but in a social media landscape that's full of distractions, you want the name of your program to be super clear. Think of this exercise for a second. If we are in a crowded or noisy bar, you should be able to say your business or coaching name clearly, and I should be able to understand what it's all about. Being too smart about this isn't going to help you. And that's it, folks. I hope you have a better understanding of how and why you should name your nutrition coaching business and what to do to choose a business name that attracts your ideal clients and does all the marketing for you. Now, as great as all those tips are, if you're really serious about starting a nutrition coaching business, the next thing I'm gonna have you do is check out this video I've linked up right here. The next step in this process is to learn how to price your nutrition coaching services. I'm gonna teach you how to do that right here. Check it out. We'll see you in the next video.